How's it going, everybody? Here's my review of AEW week commencing November 7th, but Rampage is for the week before that because we get it the week before that in England. Firstly, if you could like and subscribe to my channel, that'd be so kind of you to do. I'm trying to get this channel up. I'm trying to get it out there. We do give to charities as well. So if you could support the channel, that'd be so kind of you. So AEW Rampage basically starts up with Mike Tyson coming out. I think Mike Tyson's planning a comeback of some sort. They didn't actually say what his comeback was, but is coming back to do something. So the first match was Sovada, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, versus Oris Cassidy for the All-Atlantic AEW Championship. Really good match. Go and watch. I haven't seen it, but in the end, Cassidy wins. Then we had the BCC and Claudio and Bryan Danielson basically calling out Chris Jericho for what he's doing and his actions, attacking commentators, and both of the members want Chris Jericho basically. They want to take him apart. Then we had Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue and Madison Rayne in a really good match, but in the end, Britt Baker wins. And then Jamie and Britt started beating down their assailants. They beat down the losers, and then Tony comes out and she gets jumped as well. That's Tony Storm. Then Chris Jericho is basically saying that he said he wants both, instead of having one member of the BCC, which could be Claudio or could be Bryan Danielson, he said he wants both of them. So it looks like, then he goes, it's going to be a four-way match for his ROH World Championship, and he wants to make it fair, he wants Sammy Guevara to be in the match as well. And he said to Sammy, once they take out BCC, Sammy knows what to do. Wink, wink. But does he? We'll see. Then we had Ricky Starks says he's entering the AEW tournament, where the winner will face the AEW champion after Full Gear, which will either be MJF or Jon Moxley. So we'll see. Then in the main event of Rampage last week, it was the Gates of Agony versus Wardlow, which was a good match. Solid match, go and watch it, but it was basically a wash. Wardlow won, and at the end of it, Hobbs comes out and basically says he wants to face Wardlow for his title. So we will see what happens. So Dynamite, that was your review of Rampage. So his review of Dynamite. First match was the Gun Club and Swerve and Glory versus FTR and Acclaimed. Really good match. Go and watch it. I haven't seen it, but Acclaimed actually wins with FTR. So really good match there. Then you had a interview with MJF, basically saying he's a generational star. He respects Moxley, but Moxley is not on his level, basically. He's saying he's on a level of the generational star to transform and ascend the wrestling industry, like a Stone Cold, like a The Rock, like Cena, Sammy Martino, a Hulk Hogan, a Bret Hart, those type of people. So he's putting his name in there with rare people, and he's inhaled rare air. So we'll see. I think he's shooting for the stars a bit too high. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be him versus Moxley at Full Gear, so I'm looking forward to see that. Then after that, basically, Stokely, who used to run with MJF, basically says they're no longer best friends, and we will see what happens after Full Gear. It sort of sees it's leading up for MJF to win the title at Full Gear, and then goes into a feud with Stokely and his cronies, so we'll see. Then we had Ethan Page versus Eddie Kingston in a really good match. Haven't seen Eddie Kingston that much on TV, but Eddie Kingston unfortunately loses to Ethan Page, so Ethan Page is on a bit of a roll. Good to see Ethan Page actually winning now, which is good. And then we had Roosh basically backstage going at the Dark Order, so we'll see what happens there. Then we had Avari Davari versus Wardlow, basically saying he will give Wardlow his butler if he lets him win. Obviously Wardlow flattens him, and then Hobbs basically comes out and calls out Wardlow as he wants a title. Then Wardlow grabs the mic and goes, he wants everybody's belt in this company, which sounded like he was imploring that he wants Joe's belt. So Joe actually gave him the belt in the back of his head and knocked him out and then choked him out. So we'll see what happens there. Then Jade Cargill was backstage, basically saying she's going to go and handle Nia Rose, who has a title, so we'll see what happens there. Then Britt Baker faced off with Saraya, having a great back and forth. Britt Baker was basically saying she built AEW brick by brick, and Saraya has come there like every other superstar, and he wants a piece of the pie. And Saraya just continues to say, listen, I've been in here, the wrestling industry for 13 years. I got hit by a car and I still wrestled. I wrestled everywhere. Saying she brings a lot of experience to the ring, so let's see what happens there. Then we had Jay Lethal, etc. Backstage paying off some goons, which led Trent from the best friends, ran into this payoff from the Goons and basically called out Lethal for a match, which then went into Trent versus Jay Lethal in a match. Really good match, but in the end, Lethal won, and at the end, Jeff Jarrett comes out and calls out Sting and Darby Allin. So let's see what happens there. Then we had Jungle Boy calling out Christian Cage and Lucha, and he said he's going to announce what match he wants on Rampage this week. So I'll review that next week. No, this week. Coming. Then we had John Moxley coming out with William Regal saying how he's the best, how he's going to test and see how strong MJF is. Basically saying he was there previously where MJF is now coming up thinking he's bigger than he is, and we're going to see how good he is at Full Gear. So that'll be very interesting. Then we had Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue in a match. Really good match there, but Jamie Hayter won. Then in the main event of the evening was Bryan Danielson and Sammy Guevara in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Really good match. The first fall was Sammy hits Bryan Danielson with the object and gets disqualified. So then next round, Sam actually wins by his go to sleep. And then in the end, Bryan Danielson wins by Psycho knee. So really good match. So that's your review of AEW Rampage. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you can be so kind. Thank you very much.